All right. I'm John Morris, and I'm both the director of CFI Education and the programmer for the Children's Film Festival. And welcome to the Mill Valley Film Festival. This is a very difficult technological feat that we're doing here, and I have to thank Robert Bloomberg for, getting all this together, but it hasn't been easy to put it on. I've known Robert for a few years, and I am a stereo fan also. And he's an award-winning stereo photographer and filmmaker, and he's a musician also who creates the sound for his shows, and you'll see that in Frog and Friends. And he was the Northern California director for the National Stereo Association for over 20 years. Mike, where are you? Ah, thank you. Does that sound different? Yeah. So his How to Draw a Cat actually played in last year's festival. So without further ado, because we need time at this point, Robert?
Thank you. I know you have a choice in sideshows, so decided to come to the 3D sideshow. As John mentioned, for the past I don't know how many years, I've been involved with the National Stereoscopic Association, the other NSA. And this is an organization of amateur and professional stereo photographers and filmmakers. And we hold an annual convention every year in a different city. And one of the wonderful things about these conventions is the stereo theater, where you get to see films by all types. We have independent people working on their own. We have some studio films. And today, I thought it was a shame that general audiences didn't get a chance to see some of these films. So thanks to John Morrison and Sterling Hedgepeth and Dan Zastro and the Mill Valley Film Festival, we're able to pitch our tent today and show you some incredible shorts. We've got, hi there. We've got high-budget films done by teams of artists in big studios, and we've got low to no budget films done by a single person in a studio apartment. So you're going to see the whole range here today. How many, I know all of you have probably seen a 3D film, but how many have actually created 3D? There should be more hands up, because most of us are creating 3D all of the time. You have two eyes, hopefully, and your left eye and your right eye are seeing slightly different views of the world all the time. To illustrate this, if you put your finger up, and let's put it right under that exit sign, close your left eye, and just line up your finger under the exit sign with your right eye, and now close your right eye and open your left eye. And you see the difference. And your brain is constantly getting this stream of 3D left and right images and fusing it together so you don't fall over. And let's see, what do we do? Oh, and we have, can't forget this, 4 of the filmmakers today are here for a treat, and we'll be having them up for a Q&A following the show. I want to start, before I show Frogs and Friends, I have to flash back to 1953, and my very first 3D film that I ever saw. I was visiting my grandmother in San Francisco, and we were walking on Market Street. We passed the Golden Gate Theater, which is still there, and they had a 3D film playing. I somehow convinced her to take me in to see The Maze. And I may have told her it was a documentary about math puzzles. I don't remember, but she did it. It was not her kind of film. And I wanted to show you, this isn't on the program, but here's a short trailer that gives you an idea of what The Maze was like.
I wouldn't go there.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Aye, miss. Are you lost?
Lost? Oh, no. I'm a guest of Sir Gerald's. I'm staying at the castle.
A guest? A craven?
Yes, Sir Gerald and I are engaged to be married. Well, what's the matter?
I wish you the best, miss. I'll pray for you.
Thank you.
I'd best be on with my work, miss. I'll be saying good morning.
Oh, I have a letter I'd like to post. Would you tell me where I should wait for the postman?
I'll be meeting him, miss. I'll give him your letter.
And twice as many are half my age. And they ask me what I asked long ago. It doesn't matter what I do, where I go or what I've been through. I still wish I knew.
So, Bob Benicia, Pieces of the Fair. And Patrick Osborne, this film we just saw, and I enjoy it more every time I see it. And Eric Curlin, whose work you saw 3 times in the OK Go videos, and Longest Day Care, which was definitely worth waiting for to see in 3D. And Jeff Baller, a geek like me. I have a question for Bob first. Did you have any idea what those amusement park rides were going to look like, that they would look like those amazing alien creatures when you did that?
Not exactly. Sometimes, I think in creative pursuits, sometimes you just start doing something and then it turns into another thing, just feeds itself, it gives you more ideas. I think the real thing is to just get out there and start doing something, and then you get turned on by what you're doing.
Any questions for anyone in particular? Or did you want to say something about your film? I have a question for Eric then. Okay. White Knuckles, those dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you're asked this all the time. What take was that?
There's 2 questions. They always come in this order. Was that really one continuous take? And 2, how many times did you have to do it? Yes, it is one continuous take, and that was take 72 out of 124. Then the question that follows up is, why did you do 124 if you got it on 72? We still had the dogs for a couple days, and we sort of set the bar and said, let's see if we can get a better one. I think we ended up with 4 where we got it beginning to end with all the dogs. And we kept saying, that was good, but it was no take 72. So.
And these were rescue dogs?
They were a mix of rescue dogs and dogs from a trainer up in Oregon. Yeah, big props to the trainers. The band came up with this concept several years ago, and they had actually shopped it around and couldn't find an animal trainer in LA who was willing to try to do 4 minutes, 14 dogs, and 1 goat. Did you see the goat? Okay. 14 dogs and 1 goat. Don't ever try to train a goat. It doesn't work. But they found a company up in the Portland area called Talented Animals. Lauren Henry, an amazing animal trainer. And so we took the whole band, and the production went up to Oregon to shoot it. And what you don't see is the 11 trainers who are all standing just out of camera range. Each dog responds to a different trainer. And they're motivating the dogs with tennis balls and hot dogs and all kinds of things to get them to do their bits. If you go to OK Go's YouTube channel, you can see a behind-the-scenes video of the whole thing from an overhead camera.
I want to hog it here. Any questions from the audience? Yes?
Do any of these films ever get theatrical distribution?
Do they ever get theatrical distribution?
Well, yeah, the Simpsons short was released theatrically in 2012 as the short that went out with Ice Age 4.
Oh.
And the Disney shorts are both.
Feast will be in front of Big Hero 6 on November 7th worldwide, or in America on November 7th, and then the rest of the world after that. It's a pretty daunting experience or moment when you get your short greenlit and you realize that Disney has this kind of giant legacy of shorts before films, and that moment is like it's gonna be seen by a lot of people, so it's got to be something worth watching. It's a very daunting and kind of a little amazing moment that happens right at the beginning, and then it's really cool after working for a year and a half or so on it now that it is being seen by audiences and people seem to laugh, which is great.
Fewer previews and a short sub.
What's that?
Fewer previews and a short sub.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a really neat. I wish every film had a short in front of it. I think it's kind of neat to have that extra little treat that you get for the audience as you get something you're not really, it's not in the advertising, you're not sure you're getting it necessarily or what it's going to be. It's just kind of its own thing. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's something that Pixar brought back, and now it's pretty standard with animated features to have some sort of animated short with them.
And Disney, to their credit, they encouraged. Can you tell a little bit about how your film came to be from inception?
Sure. I had been playing with this app where you film 1 second of video for every day of your life, and I've done it for 3 years now. And one of those edits in 2012 was every dinner I had for the whole year. And you see why you don't lose weight. It's very clear. It's better than a food journal. It's like everything. But also there was something neat about the life that kind of passed in front of you and how you could maybe tell a story through dinners and food, and it all started with that. And that was the kind of heart of my pitch to Lassiter, is I want to tell a life story of a family through dinner.
And they give you time to do that, right?
Yeah, I spent about 4 months writing and storyboarding, and then 16 weeks in actual production. It was really quick.
I have a question for both Jeff and for Eric about your films. Kind of the same question, though, about planning it. How much of it was as you conceived it from the very beginning? And for Eric, I'm talking about the one with Polobolus, the All Is Not Lost. I mean, like, that film to me is like 3D chess or something. It's something I can't even conceive, like storyboarding. And also for yours, did it change while you were doing it, like, or did you conceive it all from the beginning?
It's almost exactly what I imagined.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, usually when I was writing songs, I had ideas of what I wanted to do for the video, and they were kind of vague, and I knew that I wanted to do something like, anybody remember Aha, Take On Me? Okay, so I wanted to do something like that, but in 3D. And I wanted to keep it like pretty much all one color. So I had vague ideas as far as what I wanted. Of course, when you go through the storyboard process, and I do an animatic and everything, that develops and it changes. And when you see what you're actually working with, things change. But it's really close. I usually don't stop my videos until it matches what I originally had in my head.
Yeah.
If I come up with something better than what I had in my head by accident, great. But I try to get the same thing if I can.
Okay, so
Sure.
Well, for these, OK Go comes up with the concepts. If you're not familiar with the band OK Go, they're probably best known for their treadmill video that won a Grammy a number of years back. But they come up with all of these really wild, unique ideas. And they started their own label, Cara de Butte. They fired Capitol Records and started their own label. And they look for interesting partnerships. So they actually partnered up with Nintendo when the 3DS was coming out, the game system, to do some 3D videos to release for the game system. You were asking about distribution. The OK Go videos were actually pushed out that way. And I knew the band. I had said, hey, we should do something 3D sometime. And I basically got a call on a Tuesday saying, hey, you know that dog video we talked about? Maybe we should do that in 3D. Can you fly up to Portland tomorrow with a camera? So I didn't have any time to plan for that, but fortunately it's a stationary camera inside a box, dogs jumping over it. And I actually shot that with a pair of consumer little Canon point and shoots because it had to fit in this little box they built. The Pilobolus video, the band had an opportunity to collaborate with the Pilobolus Dance Company in Connecticut. And I should also mention both of those videos were directed by Trish C. She's an incredible director, choreographer, and she did the treadmill video with them as well. And that one I had a little more lead time, I had about a week. Trish and the dance company actually worked out all the moves and everything. They pitched it to me as, hey, we're going to do a human kaleidoscope in 3D. And that's what we ended up with. To shoot that, they had a plexiglass stage about 6 feet off the ground. And I had a 3D camera system shooting into a mirror and then up to the stage so I could get the distance from their feet. And there is one continuous take from beginning to almost the end that ends up in the top right corner. And then we had a big grid that showed where things would go, and we shot the whole thing for that right corner and then the sections that would go in the other pieces. And each bit of choreography had like a code name for it. What you don't see in this, there's 3 different versions of the video. There's the 3D version that we showed here. There was the standard 2D version that they did, and they did an interesting HTML5 version for Google Japan, where you could type a message at the beginning and they spell it out with their feet. So we actually, in addition to what you see, we spent another 2 days just shooting the dancers doing both the alphabet and like Japanese characters with their feet.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you.
Robert and Bob and Eric and Patrick and Jeff, this is our last question, but before we do that question, I mean, Robert is a miracle worker for getting this together. However, the person who's not on stage here and getting the applause is Dan Zastro, who, you know, just, he's the Deus ex machina of the miracles. He's not even there, but it's good to know that he's there.
He feels it.
He feels it, yeah. So, very last question, and it's going to be real short, because we've got to get the next audience in, obviously, because we've taken so long here, but thank you all for being patient, too.
Last question.
Oh, we have a last question? Who's
Sure.
last question?
When are you going to do it again?
Yeah. I'd love to know what I'd love to know what each of us are going to do next.
We'll go down the line? Okay. Oh, I'm working on the next music video right now. It's a different look. It's kind of like a steampunk, Monty Python kind of thing, using clip art, Victorian clip art. And if you go to simplecarnival.com, you'll see as it's in progress. I post shots as I'm working on them. And likewise, if you like that video, there's an anaglyph. You've got red and blue glasses. You can watch the Geek Like Me there on simplecarnival.com. But I've got, I think, 7 more videos to make as part of this project. So there's other ones that are up there as well. Bob?
I have an idea for a documentary I want to do about my best friend. He's a genius fabricator and designer, and he makes little automata, but they're the most wonderful things you've ever seen. I used to perform comedy magic with him, and you know, he's just a wonderful person who likes to bring joy to the world, and he's built these little robot type things, but they're birds that articulate just like real birds, and they're amazing. So I would love to show him creating the illusion of life out of wood and brass and string.
And I have 3 original songs that I'm completing and I want to animate, and 2 of them were written for 2 people in the audience who I'm hoping will help me out in doing it. I have my great niece and my great nephew. We have Gabe Mizan over there and Camille Mizan. You should stand up because you're going to be the stars, hopefully, of this film. And I hope to get that finished before they go to college. So.
I got married a year and a week ago, and I had to put off the honeymoon to make the short. So in a couple of weeks we're going to Japan for a honeymoon. That's my next thing.
Yeah, I had to ask you, do you have a dog, Winston?
No, I grew up with dachshunds, but I think there's too many in animation, so that's why it's a different breed. But no, I don't have one right now. LA, my place is really tiny.
I'm actually currently working on another 3D project at The Simpsons. I can't say too much more about it. I'm not quite sure where you'll see it, but that's coming. And I'm also in the process of starting up a nonprofit to open a 3D museum in Los Angeles. So actually, we're doing a crowdfunding campaign right now. If you're interested in learning more about it, grab me in the lobby and I can give you a card about it.
Thank you. Yes, 3D space. Definitely check it out.
Center for Stereoscopic Photography, Art, Cinema, and Education.
I love it. I love it. And anyone interested in the NSA, I have brochures outside in the lobby and some free magazines. They put out a magazine every month. It's wonderful. It has articles about old stereo and new stereo and how-tos. So anyone interested, just come up and I'll give you a free copy as long as they last. Thank you so much for your patience.
And we have to get out of the